Hi everyone, I'm talking real estate and investment today with a local real estate agent, and I know that for many people who are looking to get into their first home and perhaps young, between 18 and 30 years of age, it's often a big decision, and how do you go about it? So I'm here with Stephanie Winpenny. Steph, welcome.
Thank you.
And Steph, you're a professional, you're a young person, but you're also a professional real estate agent and you bought your first home and so forth.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
In terms of home ownership, hubby and I bought our home, I think we just worked out 5 or 6 years ago now.
Yes.
But prior to real estate, I was a teacher in our local high school.
Secondary
teacher, and
yep.
I taught dance and drama and music and all different things. So I've been in real estate for the last year.
Okay, and what's the name of your business?
We're called Ubiquitous Realty.
Ubiquitous Realty, and that's a family business, I believe, with your brother and your mum and dad?
Yes, that's right.
Fantastic.
So all 4 of us work together as a team.
Okay, and you're based out in Deception Bay?
Yes.
In my electorate, so
yes.
Yeah, that's really good.
My favourite place on earth is Deception Bay.
It's a great spot, the Bay.
Yes.
Yeah, and so you're like 26 or something now, so you must have only been like 21 when you bought your first home. That's quite impressive. I mean, what did you do? How did you save a deposit? What did you look for when sort of buying your first home, Steph?
I guess that, well, there's a couple of questions there. So we had I don't know, what's the word for it? We were privileged enough, I guess, that my husband and I met quite young, and I don't know how you know when you're 14 and 15 that you love someone and you're going to spend the rest of your life with them, but we knew. So we started thinking at that age what we were going to do about our goals. And so we thought, well, we really want to own our own home one day, and that was our biggest goal. So we thought, well, how are we going to get there? So we knew very young that we had to start saving money to be able to have a deposit to buy our first home. And luckily we had good leadership from our parents on both sides. So they were really helpful for us in terms of encouraging us to put money away and to think wisely about what we were spending our money on. So I guess that's one side of it, is that we knew early on that we needed to start saving because we had that goal. So I think step 1 for us was just knowing our goal.
Yeah, so having a goal. Yep, yeah. So having a goal to buy your first home, that was important. Yeah. So you wrote that down and went for it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Why not?
Yeah, and what are the advantages for young people, I guess, that are looking to buy their first home? I mean, what advantages does buying a property generally give if you buy right?
Well, for us the advantage was just we knew that we had set ourselves up for a future, and that in our minds we always thought that rent money was dead money, and we wanted that sense of ownership and knowing that it was ours and that what we did to it was our choice. And you can't get that through renting. Okay. Yeah.
And look, interest rates are quite low at the moment, so it's probably a fairly good time to buy. But at the same time, if you're a first home buyer, it's probably not great to overstretch yourself. Is that right? And many of the properties you sell, what sort of price range would they be?
Look, we're roughly around 400,000. Sometimes a little less, sometimes more. It depends on your client and what property they have. But in Deception Bay, roughly around 400,000.
400. And what would be you can get some cheaper ones on smaller blocks too?
Yeah. So I mean, you can still pick up property in Deception Bay for 300,000 if you're buying intelligently. Okay. Yeah.
And so to someone, if we go in the middle there, about 350, someone would need to generally save how much deposit?
Look, a good, I guess, port of call is about a 10% deposit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if they could get 35,000, that would give them a loan of 315,000. And then I guess with an established home like that, for a couple that's new that are moving in, or a single person that's new that's moving in, they have the opportunity maybe to do it up a little bit and make a capital gain. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, and I think that was one of the things, because both my husband and I, we sat there and we spoke. The first thing that we did, once we realised that we had our savings, the next thing that we did was go and speak to a mortgage broker. And we decided not to talk to our banks because we thought, oh, they're probably going to be a bit biased because they're going to have their products and their service. So we went to a mortgage broker who deals with several lenders. And so she basically helped us out a great deal and told us, look, you can spend, up to you guys, you have the capacity, you could probably buy a $450,000 home if you want to. But the best thing about her was that she said, now, I'm going to explain to you what that actually is going to look like. That means your mortgage repayments are going to be this much a week. That means that you're not going to be able to do this or this or this. So is a $450,000 mortgage what you really want at this stage? And we sat and thought about it and went, probably not. So we gave ourselves room. So we went for a much cheaper home that we knew had growth, much similar to this home here, that we could renovate and make something of, so that we could have that gain.
So if you could pick up a house like for 350 and if you had a loan of 320, say, you're at 5%, you're probably looking at about $16,000 a year in interest, whereas if you go to a $400,000 loan, you're looking at about $20,000 a year in interest, right? So that can make a big difference to people.
Yeah, your week-to-week living expenses and things like that. And I mean, you don't necessarily, I mean, we could have, it would have been great for us to have had a brand new home and to have had, gardens and everything already done, and to not have to worry about any work to put into the property, just move straight in. But I don't believe that if we purchased a property like that we would have had the growth in the property. Because there was nothing else to add. Whereas going the other way, we had a cheaper mortgage. Yes, we had to put in some time and effort and work, but we've been able to make it our own.
Now, most people that are buying their first home, most young people have to save for a couple of years or a few years to get a deposit together. So to save $30,000 is not always easy after tax, I guess. So what would most people would have a deposit of around 10%, would they?
It's a really healthy idea to have a 10% if you can. I mean, you need to talk to a mortgage broker, obviously, and get some financial advice there. Because some lenders we're hearing can do up to a 98% lend. So that means you could have 2% as your deposit. But that's not all lenders, and it's still, I think if you can only get a 2% deposit, it's probably not enough as a backup for you either. So
the federal government now has a scheme where young people can save money over 2 years into their super. So not what their employer puts in, but additional on top. And it can save up to $6,000 in tax that would normally go to the government that you get to keep for a home deposit. This could be a good opportunity as well for young people. So if you need more details on that, please contact my office. What about unit versus houses? Like, I mean, would you buy a unit first or a house first? I mean, what are most people after?
Look, it depends. It's case by case. We didn't want to go for a unit because it didn't suit us. Hubby wanted a shed. We wanted a yard.
Yes.
We wanted a house. So it just depends. I feel like homes have more growth in them, but it depends on your market and a whole bunch of different.
And I guess with ongoing costs, you've got rates, I should say.
Yeah.
With units and things, you also have body corporate fees.
Yeah, strata fee.
That you need to keep in mind. So while it sounds great that a unit you can pick up for $320,000, by the time you have all your body corporates and things like that, it's actually a little bit more expensive. So you need to be well educated, especially if you're going down a townhouse unit style. Yeah. But a good option for someone buying a first house is, as you possibly say, if you could pick up something for $350, have a bit of a deposit, you're not overstretching yourself, and the loan is sort of hopefully manageable. Obviously, people get financial advice, but there's always the chance, like I guess with this place, to do the gardens up, or do a little renovation, new floor coverings or new paint. And then you could almost make a good capital gain, right?
Yeah.
So do you see that?
Equity, yeah.
Do you see that often? Like when you're in your business, do you see people that have bought, then sold sort of a couple of years later that have made a bit of a capital gain?
I know of them because I've only been in the real estate for a year. I haven't yet had that that eventuate. But I am dealing or have dealt with a few young couples who have purchase their first home, and I say to them when they come through, because I'm not selling new builds, I'm selling established homes, and I say to them, you know, what brought you to buying an established home when you've got a $15,000 first home owner's grant?
Yes.
For a new build.
Yeah,
so,
that's a state government grant, 15 grand, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and quite often they say, well, you know, I don't want to have a massive, you know, $500,000 mortgage for a brand new home when I can spend something like $350 and have all this extra money as a buffer, and we can build it up and we can have equity. So I think.
Because that's a good point. Like, you might get the $15,000 first homeowners grant, but you're getting, you know, a loan of an extra $135,000. If you're buying for $500, you know, and minus 15 as compared to $350, you're sort of up for another $135 in a loan.
Yeah,
you know,
and so
which
there's
is
all your mortgage repayments.
$7,000 interest or something, $6,000 interest a year.
Yeah, and look, we see it sometimes. You know, people will go and buy, and it's very Generation Y and very millennial, I guess, is that you want everything now, new, and it's a very keep up with the Joneses sort of thing, and it takes some real guts, I think, to, you know, buy something that is beneath your means just a little bit, instead of buying the brand new house that looks perfect and everyone looks at it and thinks, oh wow, they must be so good and look how great they are.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the end of the day, that person is probably a slave to their mortgage.
Yeah, and that's a good point. You don't just want to be working hard just full on all the time just to you know, be a slave to the mortgage. But if you can get something, you know, a little bit older, that's maybe a little bit run down, that doesn't have a great paint job, or the garden's overgrown, these are things that you can add value to the home.
Definitely.
And then if you own the home, of course, when you go to sell it, there's no capital gains tax on your own home, which is great. So if you can make a $70,000 profit, well, you know, after commission, I guess, you get to keep that money, which is great. And that would give you a healthy deposit for the next house that you buy that might be a little bit closer to the city or might be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, and I think that's too, like going back to my husband and I, we always said house number one is our stepping stone house. It's not our forever house.
Yeah.
This is not the house that has to be the be all and end all, but this is our start.
Yeah.
Like, this is our start.
Mate, if you're anything like Louise
okay.
and I, we got been married for quite a while, but I think we'd moved about 8 times.
Yeah.
So we've sort of gone from place to place, and then we bought into a business, so we sold the house and rented. But yeah, it's quite interesting. But and actually, when I ran for Parliament, I had a nice house over in Brisbane City. I live in Clontarf now, but I couldn't afford. I wanted to live on the peninsula, which was central to the Petrie electorate between Deception Bay and Brisbane Downs. And so we rented a house, and we had this really nice house that my father-in-law built, which was rented out for like $600 and something a week. And we rented for $380 a week, which my wife wasn't happy about. But it's what I could afford at the time, because I was trying to campaign and wasn't being paid and things. So it's about timing and things. So tips for young people from you, Steph?
Well, I think number one is that you need to have a goal. Yes. Really, really important that you know what you want and that you stick to it, even though, you know, you might see other people, you know, flying off in the world, and they might have the brand new house and the brand new furniture or the brand new car, and you're sitting there and you're saving towards your goal of having your dream home or your first home or whatever it is. It's being committed to that. And being focused on that, not giving up on the goal is number one. Number two, if you're looking at purchasing your first home, then talk to a mortgage broker. Even if you're like, oh, we've only got $2,000 saved in the bank account, we're not going to be able to buy our first home. That's fine. Talk to a mortgage broker now, because the good thing is that a mortgage broker can explain to you what you need to do in order to get there. They can tell you how far away it's going to be, and they can help you out with a plan of attack in order to get you moving there. So help you out with budgets, help you understand what all of your expenses are going to be. So that's a really handy thing.
Yeah, so point 3, Steph.
Yeah, so I guess the last thing is, don't over capitalize, or don't buy something that somebody tells you you've got a maximum. You don't have to go to that maximum. You can buy a little bit less, and understand that you don't need to have a big, massive mansion to start off with, and that it's okay. You know, a lick of paint, carpets, little things can help. It's just the stepping stone home to get you to the next place. And even doing that is a great idea because you've got so much value and room to grow. So I think definitely just buy within your means. Don't shoot above it, because you know what happens if you have a $500,000 brand new home with a brand new furniture package, and all of a sudden your partner can't work anymore, they get injured, or something happens to you, and then you're lumped with this mortgage that's going to put you into stress. Why would you want that? Why not go for something smaller and have a life? You know, have a real life that you can enjoy, and you can take a holiday if you want to, and it's not going to kill you. You're not a slave to it. You know, it's nice to have nice things, but they come at a sacrifice.
Yeah. Well, look, Steph, that's really good advice. Thank you for your expert advice. And as a young woman who's purchased her first home, thank you for sharing with other young people. So if you're looking to buy your first home, there's some really good tips there from Steph about making sure you have a goal, about making sure you talk to a financial planner and mortgage broker, and then making sure, just remembering that this isn't the Taj Mahal, it's not your home, your forever home in most cases. It's a stepping stone where you can get in, hopefully make a good capital gain, and then move on to the next one, and then that might be the one you live in forever. But don't forget as well that you have the option for first home buyers with the super savings scheme. So not the super that your employer puts into your superannuation fund that you touch after you're 55 or whenever you want to retire, but money that you can put in to save for a first home and save approximately $6,000 over 2 years. Contact my office if you want to know more about that. Talk to your financial advisor or an accountant. And if you want to chat to Steph, who's sort of done it and who's involved in a local real estate agent in Deception Bay.
Yeah, we'll
Steph,
put
how
our
do they
details.
get hold of you?
We'll just put them below or somewhere around the video.
Yes.
I don't know how Curtis will figure it out. It might be there, or it might be there. Or can you deal with it if I put it there?
Is it here or here? Yeah. And what's the name of your company? Spell it again.
Ubiquitous Realty. So UBIQUITOUS.
Ubiquitous Realty.
Ubiquitous Realty.
Stephanie Winpenny. Okay. Thank you, Steph. Thank you very much.
Curly words.
All right. Good luck.